Watching Breakfast Central, in the last 10 years, there has been increased attention on issues that matter to girls amongst governments, policymakers, and of course the general public, and more opportunities for girls to have their voices heard on the global stage. Yet, investment in girls' rights remains limited, and girls continue to confront a myriad of challenges to fulfilling their potential, made also worse by concurrent crises of climate change, COVID-19, and humanitarian conflict, according to the United Nations.
Today marks the 10th anniversary of the International Day of the Girl. Girls, of course, around the world continue to face unprecedented challenges to their education, their physical and mental wellness, and the protections needed for a life without violence. Joining us this morning is a clinical social worker with over 13 years of practice in social work experience. She is the founder of CARIS Family Development Initiative, popularly known as CARIS, a social work agency which promotes the functional well-being of individuals and families in the communities. She advocates for the quality of lives for women and girls in Nigeria that are affected by domestic violence, gender bias, stereotypes, discrimination, and imbalance. Welcome, Bekederemo Angela, to the show this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, you sent. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I think, first of all, I'll start by saying Happy International Day of the Girl, from one girl to another girl. And the theme this year is Our Time is Now, Our Rights, Our Future. How does this set the pace for a very important conversation as regards the goals for every girl child?
I didn't get that. Please come again. How does this work?
Now, let's look at the theme and how it affects the development and the progress of the rights of the girl child.
Yeah, if you look at the team, when I first saw the team, it said, our time is now, our rights, our future. So there's no better time to keep our women. So let me even take for girls. Looking at our Africa cultural values, oftentimes when you talk about the rights of the woman, the rights of the girl, is often misunderstood. Is assumed to be a contest with the men's world, which is not supposed to be so. Every human being has the right to life, has the right to the quality of life, has the right to education, has the right to whatsoever occupation they've chosen. So in the last 10 years, advocating for the well-being of the girl child, which comes through the international day, creating awareness, advocating, coming up with policies. I think this year's team just worked better because you will not say because you have a girl child, probably there's a financial constraint in the family. You want to limit, you want to stop the girl's education to say, okay, let the boy go. Fine, no one wishes to have such situations. But if you look at the developed world and countries, what they've successfully done, when they have shocks of life, they that could cushion the economy. No one is left behind. You can't leave the girl child behind because you feel that the boy child is the one that will raise the family. And life has even shown, oftentimes when such poor decisions are made, you see that the boy become successful in life, and it doesn't look back. This was the boy child that you have invested so much. So no one is saying leave the boy child behind or leave the girl child behind. The theme this year means that it is time for women to pick up that chosen career that they've always desired. Like there's a particular slogan that said, gender has no career. If a woman wants to become a doctor, allow her to become a doctor. If she wants to go into science, allow her to go into science. If she wants to start going into math, allow her to go into math. If you want to go into engineering and technology, which is the acronym for STEM, allow her to go. Don't say because she's a girl, she should be relegated to some assumed domestic discipline like tailoring, hair making, so some special profession is limited for the male child. No. That's why the team, our time is now, because this advocacy has been on for like over years. Fine, for the last 10 years, it has been given a voice. So I believe this year's team works better. No one should be left behind. No one should be discriminated at. No one should be stereotyped. You can't stereotype the girl. You need to say, okay, this is what is best for her. So long she has potential, she has shown interest in whatsoever career she desire, allow her to have that choice of
Absolutely.
career. Thank you.
I also want to talk about challenges, and since you've worked closely with families and a female or girl, the girl child across different age ranges, what's the single most common challenge or factor that every girl child faces in Africa and Nigeria, to be precise?
Oh, one of the challenges a girl child face is that, fine, we'll say it's not so prevalent in the southern Nigeria, but it is indirectly. It's just that the southern Nigerian regions will not show up a party. Early child marriage. Indirectly, either she's given by her family or she gets involved in relationship by the age of 16. She's already assumed to be married, probably legally or not legal. So another factor, that one common factor that affects the girl child in every family is education. Because when it comes to education, the boy child is always prioritized. Okay, I was looking at the statistics by UNFA UNESCO between 2009 and 2019. From primary school education, 72 percentage of boys were enrolled into primary school. Only 60% of girls. So we ask ourselves, what happened to the 12% gap? Is it that the family assumed that, oh, we cannot afford education for our girl children? No, let's send the boys ahead. So there are a lot of things affecting the girl child. And aside early child marriage, education, domestic violence, and rape. Rape is one thing we don't talk about. We don't openly talk about. Oftentimes, we assume that the girl placed herself at some high risk environment. That is the reason why she got raped. The truth, no matter where she found herself, even as much she's not ready for that sexual act or sexual relationship, is a no. You should just allow her a no and tell her to go. Rather than to say, oh, she was looking for it, she asked for it, so I
I mean, you've raised a very vital point. Unfortunately, victim shaming is something that a lot of young girls have to suffer, especially looking here in Nigeria. Victim shaming and the blame game. These are some of the challenges against the fight against sexual and gender-based violence and rape, sexual abuse, if I may put it that way. Now, let's talk about the role of the government. What can the government officials, policymakers, stakeholders do to help tackle inequalities, in every sphere as regards the girl child?
Okay, it starts with policy. It starts with your regulations, and you don't just put up these policies. You don't just put this legislation and you carry out enforcement immediately. I always said, what is the national
Angela, unfortunately, we might have to continue this conversation some other time as we're having technical challenges being able to complete this conversation with you. But we do hope to have you again on the show to further, expatiate on the things that we can do to make life better for the girl child and to bridge the gender inequality gap. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.